Recording Mrs. Ryan.
Here we go.
Oh, man.
Is another name
This
from
is
the
a
past.
week. This is a week down, what do you call it? Memory lane.
Yeah.
Gosh, let's see here. Sorry about that. Hello, everybody. There we are.
Hello.
How's it going, Mrs. Ryan?
It's going.
There we go. Get some lights
Some
going
lights.
here. I know,
Cool.
your favorite part. Bringing the lights on.
Simple things. I like light.
Oh. Isn't that great? Did you always? There was a time in my life where I was just like, I like the dark. Like, I'm depressed. I want to be inside.
Yeah, I think I had some years like that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, I read a lot at night under the covers with a nightlight. So I think I liked the dark.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to pause here just for a second, Mrs. Ryan, because our main camera is like not there. I mean, it's there, but we're not. And I don't know how that happens. I mean, I swear to
That's
God we're
weird.
here, but if we cut over there, we're not.
That's so weird. That's like the Carol Ann ship.
It totally is. It's a perfect opportunity to use this, though, so I'll just go ahead. I mean, why not?
Oh, cool. It's not me for
All right,
once.
hang on just one second. We'll be right back. Well, that was fun.
Okay.
And we
Here
are
we
now
are.
in the camera shot, which is nice.
Yay. We made it.
That was a weird thing that's never happened before. I felt a little Back to the Future a little bit. There's a thing on the internet. Do you guys have the internet? Did you see? I think we might have watched it. It's, there's a lot of these like Japanese punk videos or the one I'm specifically thinking of is there's a woman doing her lipstick in the mirror in a ladies' room, and then another woman comes in, and there's no
that's so
reflection of her in
weird.
the mirror, and it's
So
like a
weird.
whole wall because it's two twins doing a whole thing, like it's a whole, and they really messing with people.
It is trippy.
Yeah. So it was something similar like that.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, where are we?
Where are we?
Oh, Mrs. Ryan, after all that. Good evening, everybody. It is Wednesday, August 1st, 2018. August, Mrs. Ryan.
That doesn't sound right.
Can you believe it?
No.
It's special to us for a specific reason.
Okay.
And for some people at home, have a sip of water here. Let's see. August 30th is Letterman's 25th anniversary for The Late Show with David Letterman, when all this stuff was new.
Yes, it is.
So we have been working on several Letterman-related projects, but one specifically, which we've been talking about, oh, you guys will hear the story. Oh, you guys will hear the story. Oh, someday when you hear the story, one day we'll tell the story, blah, 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 blah. We are making a commitment to you today here on August 1st of the 25th year. We're committing to tell you that story on August 30th. We're going to tell the story here, what it is and what it's about. And more specifically, we have reached out to David Letterman to be a guest on that day. Who knows if it'll happen? I have fingers crossed, but no expectations.
None. But that's part of the whole thing. I love it.
The truth is, there's a great story, and I'm going to tell you just a little bit about it right now. In 1996, I was the biggest Letterman fan ever. My dad had just died. I just graduated high school. My dad had just died, and they were doing a new set in the Ed Sullivan Theater, and all of this stuff was being replaced. Everything you see here, and the buildings and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. This is the end of that stuff.
Okay.
And on the night that they revealed the new stuff, I'm going to play a clip from that right now.
Awesome.
Roll it, Hal.
Once you get her started, by God, there's no stopping her. I've noticed two problems with the new set.
What?
Well, one, this microphone is higher than it needs to be.
Now, what's that about?
Well, it's because the other microphone, the one that's been on the desk for 2.5 years here and 13.5 years at NBC, last night that was stolen.
You're kidding.
Now, that was stolen. So we had to replace it with this other new, and it occurs to me that we stole that microphone from NBC. So, and the other thing is there's no window here now, so when I do this, what do we get? See? We used to have some kind of satisfying sound effect that, I don't know. Some things to work out. We'll have some meetings and we'll take care of those.
Yeah, so there's that. So I was a young kid in Wilton, Connecticut, the same town, who had one of those microphones. So the microphone he was talking about, it looked exactly like this. This is not it, folks, but this is a replica of it. That microphone went missing. There's a whole big story involved. However, we have the story, and allow me to do this. We have shown for the first time the microphone. That is actually David Letterman's microphone that was stolen that night. We have the story. We're making a movie about it, a documentary about it. Whoops-a-daisy. Yep, you've seen that enough. There we go. And there you have it. August 30th. We're going to tell that story here on the show, hopefully to a David Letterman. But we'll see. We're committing to tell you the story either way. This is not the documentary, by the way. This is not any of the, I mean, this is just... It's time to put this story out there. The all of the details, which are absolutely incredible, will be that's still another thing.
Yeah.
But we needed to talk about this.
This will go out. There's a ton of. It's really a neat
It's an
story.
exciting month for us. I mean,
can't wait.
it's effing electric around here because it's like we've been dying to tell this story for 2 years since we've had all the details, and it's time. So there's that. All right.
Here we go.
We'll keep watching this month. There's lots of shit going on. That's right. August 30th, by the way, is a Thursday. I believe. Yes, I think so. Which is great. And we actually have a show that day. And Mary Lou Henner could tell you that was a Monday 25 years ago. She's got some memory on her. All right. So that's that. That was longer than I anticipated. Thank you, Mrs. Ryan, for being so awesome. Let's check in with an East Coast feed, shall we?
Yes, please. Hello,
All right.
Kaz.
Steve Kaz, Danbury Chive over there in Ridgefield, Connecticut. Checking in now with the East Coast feed. Roll it, Hal.
Hi, Mrs. Ryan. Steve Kaz in the East Coast feed. Doing a little something here at work. You guys recognize this stuff, right? It's like filming and all good stuff, and there's Bob's got the boom. Look at this. See? Everybody's famous today because we're doing a little corporate video shooting. That's just for you. Love you, right?
It's almost like... I don't know. There's not even any content. It's just like, here's where I am, here's what I'm doing, and I'll take it.
I love it. And for everyone who hasn't been there, I've been in that little vestibule area, like getting a coffee, waiting for him to take me to the airport, and like it's just. Yeah,
for the folks, anybody, I don't know, anybody who might go and see this guy, it's Ridgefield BMW in Ridgefield, Connecticut, and the facility is gorgeous. It's one of the new BMW facilities with all the glass and just. Everything's amazing. It's just, oh, touch this, play with this, and all that stuff, and everyone's really friendly. So go over there, say hello. But it's such a nice store. What I was getting at is that they do a lot of the corporate training videos and stuff there because it looks so nice and it's the future of BMW and blah, blah, blah. So he's always involved with that stuff because he has a magic personality.
Yes, he does.
Mrs. Ryan, it is time to ask the question that's on everyone's mind. What's going on?
What's going on is that today I'm super excited to continue the Connecticut trip down memory lane with you.
This is a weird week. We had Alex Bloom here yesterday, who I haven't seen since high school, shortly thereafter. And then we have someone else here from high school today, David Graybill. So now, all right, more Connecticut stuff. Throw it at me.
So I again, we'll keep this short. But did you know that they have video game tutors now?
No, and I mean, when I was a kid, I used to think that the cheat guide was actually cheating. Like you could buy a book for $15 on top of your $50 game, and it would show you how to play the game to completion. I feel like now, if you need somebody to read the book for you, I'm out.
I think it's a little different. When I was a kid, I was afraid of mushrooms. I did not read the book, so I didn't know what was going on. Because of Mario? Yeah. No.
There was free lives.
Playing the game, I was afraid of mushrooms. I thought they were like detrimental to the character. So
you might trip out. You might experience.
I just avoided them. I thought it would kill me.
You might feel. I'm just kidding.
If I'd known anything, then I would have loved them. But no, this is for the game Fortnite. And
oh gosh, I'm glad you brought this up.
Pay tutors to because it's like Little League in some places.
Well, can we back it up just for a sec? We've been watching a lot of Bonnie Hunt lately, and I have noticed this when talking to Alex yesterday. I have turned into a Chicago. Can I just back it up for a second here? What I want to find out is what the F is Fortnite? This exploded all over the social media and the news feed in the last couple of weeks. I don't know what it is. It's a video game.
I believe it's like an Avatar-y thing. I don't know tons about it.
Did you just create something new and awesome? Avatar-y?
Yeah.
David Graybill. We should
FYI,
write that down.
We have witnesses and everything. It seems like one of those. There's 125 million players across the world. Like I didn't.
So it's not new. I'm new to it. Then it's just this is a new one that came out.
Maybe.
Okay.
I
You don't amass that kind of a following overnight.
No, you don't. But you also don't amass. The tutor thing blew my mind. So I was.
All right. So, all right. Now that I've grasped that Fortnite is a game that you don't know about either. So the tutor thing is what you want to talk about. And that's crazy. But I don't know what the game is yet. So I don't know how I feel. If it's really.
It's an Avatar game.
Yeah. Okay. That's
All right.
called role-playing game in the rest of the world, right? Where you play a role in somebody else's role. Like you're playing somebody else.
Sure,
Laura
but
Croft
this seems
or
like
Trevor, who you
team
like to play.
building, like in an Avatar world. Like,
Ooh, I like that. So it's co-op.
yeah.
So you do know a little bit about it.
That's all. Like all I know. I don't know the details of it, but I know
Well,
that
let's defend yourself about it.
I'm a dork.
just
I
kidding,
do
I'm just
that all the time. 23andMe announced that it's going to be sharing its anonymized genetic data.
Hang on,
The-
23andMe is what, a television show, a website?
No, it's that where you spit into a thing to get your genetic. Like I'm a monkey.
Oh, come on, gee whiz. Okay, so they're selling all that data that people didn't
Yeah.
agree to give for
Yeah.
other purposes?
Yeah.
So that's, all right, so we have to perpetuity everything now. And then
Yes.
that all overlaps, and it's the end, people. That's it.
Well, they're selling it to a pharmaceutical company to make more drugs. It's like, what's happening?
I don't know.
Nutso.
System. You can choose to be involved with all that stuff or not.
Agreed. So, FYI, to anyone who did that.
Yeah, no, and the choice is yours.
Yes. The last one, I'm so glad you talked about the Letterman docs finally. This story resonated with me the same way. A waitress in Tucson, Arizona. Did you read about this? Who stole money off the till or the tab or something when she worked there in the 90s?
Here's the deal. I didn't read about this, but I did hear from Alex Bloom, who sent me this story this morning.
No way.
Yeah, he sent me this story this morning saying like, hey, this is crazy. It reminded me similarly. I mean, yeah. I would like to hear what you have to say about it. I am familiar with what you're talking about.
This waitress who apparently like someone told her like how to like swipe money, like, you know, ring up a hire or whatever.
We stepped on what actually happened. A woman anonymously sent $1,000 in cash and a note back to a Mexican restaurant. That's what happened.
I
And
just
then
heard that
the
she
note
sent
is-
a check to the owner with an apology saying, I'm sorry, this is what happened.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah. So that's all I know.
Oh, I thought it was amazing. I think it's such a good story.
Yeah, it's a fantastic story. I just think it's really sweet. But
Do you feel that you told it well?
Probably not.
No. Do you feel that you told it well?
Probably not. No. No. In the moment, I don't.
I
but-
think we started talking about, do you know that story? And then I said yes. So I think that I got in the middle of it. I think I might have bungled it. The story, I think, is really awesome.
The story's super neat. I love.
People do things and they regret them later in life.
Yeah, and then we get to talk about like I loved the apology of it. Like it was so sweet. And the article I read was an interview with the owner of the restaurant.
Yep, same here.
So
The person's anonymous, the person who sent it back.
oh,
As
I
I
didn't know
understand
that. Okay, well that's neat too.
Yeah.
That's the end. The rest of what I was reading was about fine dining etiquette, which doesn't seem like a proper story. So
Why not?
well,
We don't have to do it.
Here's the deal. Last one. I learned three things that I did not know previously. The top left corner of a plate when you're at a fine dining establishment is the discard area. Like bones and shit, like skin you don't want to eat.
9 to 12?
Yes,
There's
9
a
to
clock
12.
right there, too, if you want.
Yeah, I had to look at And then you're supposed to fold the napkin with the crease toward you.
Well, that's common sense.
I didn't know that.
Well, otherwise, it's going to catch in there.
Well,
And you have two napkins with food in between. Come on.
I'm not. I don't have all this background. I'm not good about it.
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know that there's a
the
right
third
way.
thing is that you're always supposed to leave the menu on the table, which I didn't know.
What does that mean?
Like if the menu, you go to a fine dining establishment and they put the menu down, you're not meant to lift it up and look at it like you're supposed to. Like what's on the menu, and then the waiter will come by and take it. Like you're not.
So you just point.
Yeah, well, you can say, but like you're not meant to like pick it up and pour through it.
I would like the blah 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 confit.
Yeah, you just say that.
And that has been what's going on.
Dun, 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 dun,
Dun, dun.
The end of the news.
You're awesome, Mrs. Ryan, and adorable. Do you want to do anything else? Do you have any business It's okay if not. Just
No,
asking.
no.
All right, then we are going to take a break, and when we come back, David Graybill will be here. More after this.
Six above sea level. I grab the mic because I like to take you to another mental level. Low power frequency radio modulation. The big sound from underground, another pirate station. We bring the truth to places truth is never heard before. We bring the sound communication of our tribal war. Dark vision fly by helicopters in the night. Attempt triangulation of our station in the fight. Straight from the base, deep down, low precision. High crime treason, we broadcast in sedition. Like the Wall Street morning afternoon edition. Commandeering airways from unknown positions. Live and direct, we come and never pre-recorded. With information that would never be reported. Disregard the mainstream, media distorted. We come and listen and supported. Live and direct, we come and never pre-recorded. With information that would never be reported. Disregard the mainstream, media distorted. We come and listen and supported. Ha ha.
Michael Marie, comme c'est important.
Don't take no prisoners if you can't afford to feed none. Don't start no fights if you cannot predict the outcome. Don't make donations where you cannot get your dough back. Fuck the apathetic bullshitters, send them all your Prozac. I will not climb into your telephone tree, and hell no, you cannot put me on hold. It's the same recorded message you've been singing all along. Keep handing us the Bible while you walking off with all the gold. The bureaucratic office sends you merry-go-rounding, while the KKK police the streets by bloodhounding. Interest on the credit card just keeps on compounding, but the FCC can never shut this pirate sound down. Live and direct, we come and never pre-recorded, with information that would never be reported. Disregard the mainstream, media distorted. We come and listen and supported. Live and direct, we come and never pre-recorded, with information that would never be reported. Disregard the mainstream, media distorted. We come and listen and supported. Live and direct, we come and never pre-recorded, with information that would never be reported. Disregard the mainstream, media distorted. We come and listen and supported. Live and direct, we come and never pre-recorded, with information that would never be reported. Disregard the mainstream, media distorted. We come and listen and supported.
Une fois que t'as senti le nom, tu t'allonges sous ton dos.
Yeah.
Tu es le journal que vibre, tu t'enfonces dedans.
With information that would never be reported. Disregard the mainstream, media distorted. We come and listen and supported. Live and direct, we come and never pre-recorded, with information that would never be reported. Disregard the mainstream, media distorted. We come and listen and supported. Live and direct, we come and never pre-recorded, with information that would never be reported. Disregard the mainstream, media distorted. We come and listen and supported. Live and direct, we come and never pre-recorded, with information that would never be reported. Disregard the mainstream, media distorted. We come and listen and supported. 6'6" above sea level. I grab the mic because I like to take it to another mental level. 6'6" above sea level. I grab the mic because I like to take it to another mental level. 6'6" above sea level. I grab the mic because I like to take it to another mental level. 6'6" above sea level. I grab the mic because I like to take it to another mental level. 6'6" above sea level. I grab the mic because I like to take it to another mental level.
And we're back. It's that easy.
That's how it goes.
Nice.
What's up?
What's up?
We are here with David Graybill.
I love that.
What's happening, man? Another one I haven't seen in a heck of a long time.
What's happening?
I have just not graduated yet. I'm not graduated yet.
First of all, welcome back to LA.
Thank you.
You used to live here too,
Yes, I
but
did.
we know each other from Wilton. Let's go way back to the beginning. We had Alex Bloom here yesterday.
Yes.
Who was the class president from my class. I didn't realize. And you, I guess, were a year or 2 years older.
I knew Alex. He and I were in productions together in Wilton High School Theater.
Yeah.
Noises Off is the one that pops to mind.
That was the freshman year that I didn't do.
Yeah, he was.
Were you an actor in it?
I was a performer in that one.
What role did you play? I love that show.
I played the director. So if you're talking about transferring that over to the movie, it's Michael Caine.
Yeah. Sure. Good for you. I mean, that's really I guess it's a full ensemble, but the director is a great role.
But that show was like a changing point, like in theater life for me. The reason I loved it was because it was a year-long production. It wasn't just the 6 weeks you do for any theater production.
Yeah.
Put it on and forget it. We did it in the fall, and then we brought it back in the spring for a competition. So the whole thing was kind of like
But because of rehearsals and everything else,
I think that's the way it turned out.
You had to keep going almost.
Yeah. It was a long process. So we went through the whole thing that those actors actually go through. Like I enjoy working with you. Now I'm really just sick of working with you, and now we're back to like you can watch the whole full cycle in that. If someone had taped that one, it would have been interesting.
All right, we were when you got here a little while ago, and we were trying to figure out exactly how we became friends in high school, because even now the math doesn't really make sense. I showed up at that school as a sophomore, which would have been your senior year. Yeah. But we did do theater together as well.
One show.
Okay.
It was called The Miracle Worker.
I remember that one.
It was my last show at Wilton High School.
And my first.
And I was tasked.
So that's the overlap? A miracle, a genuine miracle is our overlap.
That was not a miracle. I'm sorry. That show was for me. For like what people saw on stage, I cannot say. But for me, it was the most harrowing experience of my life, and my first as a technical director.
Holy cow.
Now, technical direction is what I've chosen to do with my life and all that stuff.
I was going to say, don't you have a doctorate in that now?
Yeah. Pretty close. It's pretty close. It's one of those moments you're like, okay, so that helped shape my life.
Okay.
And what I remember was I loved lighting design. I loved all the things that come along with theater technical direction.
Same here.
But I was petrified of getting up on a ladder.
Well, now wait a second. You're bringing it back. You just brought it back.
Right.
Yep.
You were the guy who was like, I'm fine doing it. And I'm like, Jay, you're a lifesaver. At the time you were not called Jay, but we won't.
Yeah, no, you can say. Hey, my name. I was born as a Ryan. Yeah.
So I would be like, Ryan, you're a lifesaver. And so it was me and him.
We should describe that this was like a 20-foot ladder.
Yeah,
this is the top of a. We're on stage, hanging legs and curtains and stuff.
Not just that, but we on a proscenium arch stage. We had decided to make it a theater in the round, so there were audience sitting on the stage.
Oh my God!
They were audience. Right. It was a ludicrous setup.
That's so much more work.
Way much more. Way too much work. And
I remember the director of that show. Now, this is all coming back to me, and now what you're saying makes sense because of the ambitions of that director, etc.
Right. Yeah. And she wanted to do it that way, and I was like, okay, let's make this happen. What ended up happening, however, was that we were putting lighting fixtures in places that lighting fixtures don't go. And so
the particular theater was never rigged or built to support an in the round structure.
Right.
It's called the Little Theater because it's a 220 seat theater, 250 seat theater, something
with
like that.
No
it's
wing
a tiny
space,
little theater.
No fly space. It's just a box.
So there's
it's basically a black box theater, exactly.
Of any you always work very meticulously and there's no wires or whatever.
It's a dream for somebody who wants to create an environment.
What that's about, make it beautiful.
Right, you try, but it's.
Well, everyone will see everything. Totally.
You're not going to do it very well. Right, it's going to look cute, it's like a little kitschy, but no, it's never going to work. So you have that moment. You have that moment where you're like, I've got to do this thing. But I am petrified of leaning this ladder, this straight ladder, not an A-frame, not something that actually looks like it's
just
meant to
be.
Just
a ladder.
the straight ladder, leaning it against,
that.
And I'm telling you this right now, we were leaning it against ropes.
Yeah.
Because the rigging system.
Fly bars for the whole rest of everything.
So this.
So good luck.
So when you're climbing up, you can feel the ladder sink into the ropes.
Because the ladder is bowing as well as what it's leaning against is bowing.
Nope.
It was an awful, you're imagining this.
And every time it bows, you're picturing the bottom feet just whee.
So Jay's like, I'll do it.
No problem.
My dad was a
I'll run
firefighter,
up
yeah.
My
there.
husband's crazy.
Yeah.
He is wonderfully crazy.
Yeah.
Like at
Yeah.
that point in
So
life,
glad you know it.
I was like that. You're saving my life, man, and I will do what I can when you do fall. I will try and catch you.
did say that. That's
Right?
so funny.
But
I remember that. I just remember you holding like my shoes with your like fingernails because he climbed the ladder enough. Like I was a full man's length above him, but he climbed the ladder enough to
make sure
be
he wasn't-
ballast and sort of hold on to my
Right,
shoestrings.
You're getting knots in your stomach right now.
So, well, because you're like wiry and tall and skinny. Was he like that then too? Like just like a little like.
Oh, weight-wise,
jump
I
out
probably
there?
weigh about the same. Yeah. in
Yeah.
high school, maybe less.
So
Nuts.
it was a
So you do that
lifesaver.
for a living now.
I do that for a living.
Cool.
I've been through the ringer as far as how I got there, but
All right, so I was actually in that show, by the way. That's one of the few
right.
shows that I was actually in at Wilton. And Carrie Kozlowski, who we talked about yesterday,
Yep.
and Katie Craw.
Katie Craw.
Katie
was the
Craw
miracle
is who
worker.
the miracle worker
Dorothea
was, right?
Harahan was. Who wasn't she in that?
Helen Keller.
She was Helen Keller. In
Yeah.
that. So is Katie Craw and Dorothea Harahan.
Man, you are bringing back. I mean, that is really.
Yeah.
We were children, man.
Children.
Crazy pants. All right, so flash forward away from Wilton.
All right.
What did you do after you went to college?
I went to NYU to School of the Arts.
You went to a little school called NYU.
Small,
in a
like-
small town called Manhattan.
Yeah.
Okay, then what?
Went from there. Right after that, I was the technical director of a cafe in like a small cafe, like on Washington Square South, like one of those things that you don't ever
Just a
put
job.
you don't ever put it on your resume.
Right,
You're
just
like,
a job, sure.
No one there is actually still the same person, or it's not even there anymore, I don't think. Then from that job, I was the assistant tour manager and assistant sound engineer for Peter, Paul, and Mary.
That's what I remember.
Yep. I was on tour with them for 2 years. I was Mary's personal assistant.
Did you go everywhere?
Now, okay, that whole experience was wonderful and amazing and life-changing for certainly like a 20-something like person just starting out in the arts. And you're talking with people who've been doing it since the 1960s. They have the most intimidating photo in the world sitting in Peter's apartment. Now, that's where I interviewed in New York City, like 2 floors, like right down the street from both Lincoln Center and Tavern on the Green. Like,
So I
it's
can
like
go either way.
Exactly. It's like you go either way and you're going to be intimidated. So no matter what happens, you're going to be intimidated. But I'm sitting in his little living space, like his coffee room. Right? It's got a little TV, and on the wall there's a poster just sitting there. It's a poster I've since bought because it's so memorable. Just as the Beatles. Now there's John, Paul, George, and Ringo, like sitting there just chatting. And there's Ed Sullivan also sitting there chatting. And there's Peter, Paul, and Mary in the same photo. They're all sitting there chatting. I'm like, okay, all right, that's a pretty cool photo.
Yeah.
Except when you realize that 2 of the people sitting in that photo are in the next
in the
room waiting to talk to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's
The Great Equalizer.
right. Yeah, you're like, of all the things that I thought I could do, I'll never have that. Right? And so
Wow.
it was a life change. That's where the whole thing started.
Okay.
And since then, or after that, I met Joan Baez. Right. That's the face. That's the face I had. I was like, because we were getting our gear together at San Francisco International Airport. We were flying somewhere. I think we were going from San Francisco to LA. And Paul Prestipino, the guitarist, like literally the coolest guy ever on the planet, still is a musician wearing his overalls. Random knowledge that I know about these people, but he just says, "Oh, there's Joni."
Oh boy.
Right, but it was so casual. So casual. I was like, "Oh, Joni. Joni who?"
I'm surprised it wasn't Mitchell, by the way.
Yeah.
Right, and I
Now hearing how this story goes.
right, there's Joni, and I was like, "Oh, who?" And so he's like, "Joan Baez, she's standing right over there. She's getting out." And Peter's just like leans over. He's like, "Can you go get her attention? I just want to say hi."
Yeah.
So I had
'Cause
to-
I can.
I have to run after Joan Baez, who at that point had a braid down. Now she had basically a pixie cut on her head, but except a braid that she had been literally growing since like the 1960s, because it was down to her ankles. It was a braid that was just beautiful. And you walk up behind her and you're like, "Excuse me, Miss Baez." Don't believe I'm saying that, but excuse me. It's like Peter would like to have a word. So that happened.
That's fantastic.
I love those moments.
Right.
They're so cool to have.
But again, you have those moments you're like, I'm going to vomit, and I don't mean it personally.
You are an appreciator of things and of accomplishments, and these people have made some accomplishments that you greatly respect.
Oh, my God.
I mean, so that's what it is. It's you're not a sycophant. You respect these people so much. The people you're speaking about right now.
Because then you get introduced to some of the people that are fans, like the people that are super fans. They ask Peter, Paul, and Mary to sign photos, and you're looking at this photo again of them singing at the Million Man March. They were Dr. King's opening act.
That's nuts.
Right.
I didn't know.
And I'm working with these people and talking with these people and laughing and everything. These people. I mean, Mary passed a few years back, and I'm sorry to say I've lost contact with a lot of them. But those experiences.
But heck of an experience.
Right. You just have those, little nostalgia things, like those things you're going through now. Like
that I'm going through now. Yeah, for sure.
Like you have those moments you all of a sudden remember, and you're like the shivers. You're like,
it's crazy.
I hadn't even thought of that.
What's going on lately with this stuff, and then this month coming up is, I'm beside myself. The rest of the world, like whatever's going on and everyone else is freaking about it, it's a blur to me because I'm so zoomed in over here on what's going on.
Yeah.
All right, so it seems like somewhere relatively shortly after the Peter, Paul, and Mary stuff is when we found each other again, but in Los Angeles. Is that correct?
I had done a few stints, including, no joke, a stint in the circus. Right?
Okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, that's completely different story, but I was a lighting technician and a pyrotechnician for Ringling Brothers and Barney Brothers Circus.
I remember this. I told Brill this. Okay, yeah, all right. This is going to come around. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was.
I forgot right now.
I have a random assortment of jobs that are all really, really interesting, and I will tell you all about them, but it will be a lot longer show. That being said, by the time I saw Jay again, my brother, Steve, who...
You're crazy.
Yeah.
Steve was a cameraman on my high school television show where I was pretending to do all this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've met that guy. When I don't look at you, I hear it.
He's an actor too. He's on Big Little Lies and all that stuff and whatever.
He's been changing lives.
Yeah.
And he lives in LA now. So, but at the time he didn't, and he was like, "You really need to hook up with Jay."
Okay.
And so I called you up, and you invited me out to your place in Marina Del Rey.
Yep.
And it was at that point like my LA life changed. Like everything was like going well. I had friends out here and they were helping me find like little gigs here and there. But that moment was like when Jay introduced me to wine, like California Reds.
I used to drink. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But
yeah. My roommate Lori Juckett, love you, knew a tremendous amount about wine. I believe still does Saturdays at the Wine House to keep her employee discount. No, employee discount.
But she's, oh man, like that, the wines, I didn't know. I had no idea what wines were.
You were a world traveler. You knew all sorts of different international wines. But there was
like, try this. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait, red wine can be tasty?
Yeah.
Wait, red wine can be...
Local red wine, too. I mean, West Coast.
And so I'm a California wine enthusiast. You show me like French and Italian, I'm like, okay, whatever. But then you give me a good California red that's like $10. Never, it's very expensive, and you're like, this is the best bottle ever. So you have that. Then I asked you for help. I remember that moment when you're like, what can I do? I'm like, I need a job, man. And you said, I might have something for you. And that's when it all went just... Welcome to LA. This is the LA experience.
Yeah, I wasn't the kind of guy who would hand out like, here, go do this gig. It's like if my friend's asking for a job and I'm able to do it, like we're going to get you a good job.
Yeah, so...
LA culture.
I know you. I trust you. It's not like you're not going to burn me. You know what I mean? Like, let's get you a good job.
Goes way back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the next week, I had a job interview on the Paramount lot. Now...
Nice.
I had never taken any tour.
was a director's assistant.
Yeah,
job.
as a director's assistant for a pilot that they were shooting the weekend.
It was for a very. I mean, can we say the name? Do you care?
Be my
Okay,
guest.
it was for Steve Brill. For Steve Brill, like the director, he did
Love
tons
that
of
guy.
stuff. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
For, whatever, tons of Happy Madison stuff.
Yeah.
And he's a writer too. It seemed like it could be a good match because I was doing this pilot with this guy, Steve Brill, and he was looking for an assistant to not only do the pilot with, but to take with him on his next. He was going to do a feature and to just be his new person,
His
Yeah.
new body man.
his new guy. Yeah. And I said,
Brill
I
was-
got a guy. I said, I got a guy.
Brill was he was also he wrote early on in his career. He wrote
Yeah.
the Mighty Ducks.
Oh, that's right.
He wrote the Mighty Ducks?
Yeah.
I
He's in
did
it
not
too, I
know
think.
that.
Yeah,
And what about
but
the?
that's when that was his first.
the wedding singer too. I think
He was in that. He was like he did a lot of stuff, but he directed a bunch of stuff. The stuff you guys would know would be like Drill Bit Taylor because that's what the one
That's
I worked
what you
with him
worked on. Yeah.
But there was a bunch of other
The
things.
recent one, like 09 or 08 or 07 or something.
Oh no, Drill Bit
Bit?
Taylor was
It's like 05, 06,
05,
something like
06
that.
somewhere.
Okay, but there was
probably
an
the same
original
one
in
you
like the 70s or 60s or something. I think.
Oh no, they based it off of the Bodyguard. Like it was about three kids who needed a bodyguard, for,
Disregard.
from bullies and stuff like that. And so
Well, anyway, so this guy, whatever. So
This guy.
you getting a job to work for this guy.
Yep, and it is the most intense experience of my life. And Jay was there to sort of witness the whole dang thing. Like,
Yeah.
It was something else.
Here's the thing. Here's what I'd like to talk about that pilot. We're talking about it as if it's like fucking whatever because there's a million pilots every year in Los Angeles. Can we talk about the cast of that pilot?
Yes.
Okay, well, there was a guy named Oliver Hudson who happens to be. I mean,
Beautiful.
he ended up going on to be with the other show, the famous
Yeah.
show, Rules of Engagement.
Yeah,
maybe
that's him.
The other fellow was Chris O'Dowd, who is
From Bridesmaids.
from Bridesmaids and many
And
other
Moon
things.
Boy and like
Hysterical.
That guy's
oh,
great.
Pirate Radio. He was so lovely in Pirate Radio. I
So
loved
he's
him.
amazing. And then lastly, just because you got I'm drawing a blank on his name. Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Who was not famous
Kevin
yet.
Freaking
Oh, before
Hart.
he was anything.
Yeah,
But
he's sitting on the
these
couch
are-
in my office,
yeah.
just shooting the shit every day.
But these three guys,
Whoa.
like, despite whatever they have made of themselves today, these were also three guys that would not only just like get together, like sit in front of Jay's desk and shoot the shit. They seemed like really good friends, like right off the bat.
Yeah, they
could
clicked.
talk about anything. And you're like, I want to see this show. I
Yep.
absolutely do.
It was called The Weekend, and the
Yeah.
gist of it was like, oh, everybody's hanging out in the week to look forward to the weekend, and then like, oh, it's the weekend.
I
You know what
love
mean? It was
that.
kind of a
And
neat
it's a
thing.
good combo to watch that evolution of.
Right. Because
Very
each
cool.
weekend ends up being something different. And
Yeah.
I
The girl
think,
you knew
yeah.
too from BWR, she's an actress from American Beauty. Oh, busted. Whatever. She was in it too. Winokur?
Oh, Melissa Jarrett Winokur.
Yeah, she was in it too. You know
There's a
her.
ton of like random stars that were just sort of like appearing in this pilot. And now when you look back on it, you're like, that is a show I would watch.
Yeah, I wish I could get a copy of it now
Right.
to see how it
And-
holds up.
The show that I remember was cut together, like the whole process making it was hard, but it was cut together really, really well. And I think what happened, my theory, not any kind
You were
of
probably involved longer than I was, kind of
Way
think of it,
longer.
because I would go away, but
Yeah.
you were with the director and you worked on the
all the way
cuts
through
throughout
the-
post and everything.
yeah.
Wow.
And so what happened was that Brill came up with the best cut of everything they had. But he
bet.
came up with it before the producers got their hands on it.
So it got
So it then, well, no, it didn't just get like tossed. What ended up
saturated,
happening was-
homogenized, pulled apart.
Right. They got pulled apart by a lot of people who wanted to have their say. And Brill had already created the
Yeah.
best comic timing of it, and all of a sudden,
That's why he's set up at the best possible place ever now, Netflix and Happy Madison.
Yeah.
He's been doing not all of them, but him and Dugan have been doing a tons of their.
Yeah.
The new Sandler one?
Yeah, and
run?
in my opinion, they're
great.
good, and they'll never they wouldn't work out there because they're good. The quality is good.
Yeah.
But the whole business model of like just turn it in.
yeah. Well, no,
Just
say
turn
what
it
you
in.
want about
Give us
Steve
the
Brill,
product
but
when you're ready.
he's oh man, he was funny.
He is funny. He's very
I don't
funny.
know him now. I've lost contact with
Well, I
him.
mean, the
since,
man.
but the man is funny. Because he could keep it going. That's the really good part about having like someone on set that could do that. Just be like, you laughed at that one, check out this one, and then this one, and so they kept the actors doing these like improv lines over and over and over again, and all of a sudden you have 20 different takes that are all equally funny, and you kind of feel like that's the strength of it. But then when you come up with the perfect edit, it's like, how are you going to improve on that? How are you going to say, oh well, I can make that better?
I don't have an answer.
Yeah, me neither.
There isn't one.
No
There
answer.
isn't one.
That's the creative dilemma, right?
Yeah. Always.
All right, so that
Always.
brings us up to mid 2000s.
Yep.
I haven't seen you since.
Yeah. So I've been living in a rock,
No. You
Nevada.
hang on. You then went international.
I did. I went.
You left
to,
Brill and then you jumped abroad, right? No offense.
Not immediately.
No offense.
No, not immediately. I went.
His wife's sitting over
Yeah.
here. That's
Yeah.
I'm telling everyone else. I know you know.
I went back home. I did all this stuff, but in the meantime, I was dancing in there.
Nice
I
segue.
was dancing.
Nice segue.
Yeah.
Can I bring it full circle?
Yes, you can bring it full circle.
All right. So, what year was the clip I'm about to play? Speaking of dancing, and
This-
I'm not going to set this clip up. I'm just going to play it, and they'll see where you're dancing in this clip. And
I was sitting backstage at a Peter, Paul, and Mary concert, and Peter, Paul, and Mary all refused to give autographs until they watched this clip sitting next to me.
wow.
So I am sitting next to, and Dave, like Dave does, just kept vamping and not playing the clip. So I'm just watching Dave. I'm sitting there watching Dave Letterman with Peter, Paul, and Mary, and we're all laughing and stuff, but mostly I'm just stressing out.
So all right, so we just gave away. So this is a clip of David Letterman. Now,
I
so
apologize.
let-
I
no,
gave
no,
it
no, no.
away.
Let's tell him what it is then. Now,
Yeah.
so you made an appearance on the Late Show with David Letterman.
Yes, sir.
Now you're not as Dave Graybill as you are here today in front of us.
Nope.
You went on the Late Show with David Letterman as David Letterman.
I did.
Now that is an accomplishment.
Whoa.
And you will see how and why in a moment. Is that fair?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Now, I will say this. The audio seemed to be not quite synced. The file you gave me was very
Yeah,
old and
it's
whatever.
very
but,
old. It was awesome videotape. And
So the quality is awful, but you'll get the gist of it. Ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we go. Roll it, Hal.
I'd like to see something like that work out, you know?
Yeah, it was sweet.
Letter number 4. Dear Dave, what do you whisper to each guest when you bring them out? Your pal, Aaron Realhas, Royal Oak, Michigan. We get this question a lot, and when a guest comes on, I used to, lean in and say, hello, thanks for coming, how's the kids, that kind of thing. Every now and then, maybe a little something different. You want to try a little something, you're feeling some extra energy. Here's what I'm talking about. Remember the other night, Marty Short,
Yeah.
a very talented actor, comedian, and a very nice guy. He's on, yeah. And well, he ain't here tonight, but he was on the other night. And I just thought, well, what the heck? Let's just try a little something different. You remember?
It was interesting.
Yeah, okay, here, take a look. The night Marty Short came out. Ladies and gentlemen, here's our good friend, Martin Short.
That is good stuff right there.
Your face is amazing.
That's good stuff right there.
I'm sorry, that was so long ago. I remember it. Like you're not gonna go onto the Letterman show and not remember every second you were on set, every second you were in the dressing room and the makeup room,
And being dressed up in David Letterman's clothes
Right,
to play
right.
David Letterman.
we were there for 2 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were there for 2 days because the first day,
Good gig.
yeah, we got there. I was in makeup for a while because I had like this amount of hair and stuff. So they had to put a bald cap on me and then put Dave's hair on.
Yep.
And so that took a while. They gave me Dave's clothes and all that stuff. But apparently that day when we were filming, The Cure went over. Right. You have those moments. You're like, so The Cure's in the building. Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, my gosh.
And Sir Anthony needed the makeup room. And you're like, which Sir Anthony? And they're like, Mr. Hopkins, Sir Anthony Hopkins. And I was like,
Tony. His friends call him Tony.
his friends call him Tony, right? And so me and Paolo, the gentleman who was playing Martin Short, we're sitting there. And I'm like, can we just stick around just a little bit? Is he right outside? He's waiting for us to leave.
That's
They're
so
like,
funny.
No, you have to go home. And I was like, so we got made up and all that, but it took so long to put the bald cap on that I was like, okay. The people in the makeup room, they're wonderfully sweet people.
Was it the show's people?
Yeah.
Was it Michelle O'Callahan?
I don't remember.
We were talking about her the other day. She passed away. She was really nice.
There was a gentleman and a lady, and they were both wonderful. They treated us like.
Was there a golden retriever?
Yes, there was.
That's her.
Oh yeah. Okay, so they were amazing.
The owner of the golden retriever.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Both of them and the dog were. They were all amazing. They treated us like we were the most special people in the world.
Sweet group of people.
Right.
That's awesome.
And like how you can do that for just a couple of performers who are going to be here on stage for like
2
4
seconds.
minutes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Pretending to be the real performers.
Right. And
wow.
They treated us like gold, and I've never forgotten that.
Good for you.
So
what a cool experience.
Right. But we went away, and I was like, okay, so I want to make sure their job is a little bit easier. That night I shaved my head.
Nope.
Razor, everything. And so I showed up the next day, and they were like, wait, what did you do? Now, granted, I showed up to the stage door, and who's the only bald guy on the show?
Paul Shaver.
Right.
Or Biff.
Who's right outside, right behind the door as I walk through.
Paul Shaver.
Right. I'm like, nice hair. And he's like, same to you.
Nice.
And that was my one Paul Shaver
That's
interaction,
awesome.
but
It's
I'm
cute.
literally bald next to him. And he's like, all right.
Well, because you're not normally bald.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I walk up to them, and both the makeup artists are like, what did you do? You had lovely hair. We loved your hair. What did you do? And I'm like, I was trying to make your job easier. And like, we love you, but
Nope.
right, you didn't have to do that. And
But
so-
they don't know you. That shit's
Right.
back in 2 days.
Yeah, I know. So
It's a good problem.
right, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So shaved my head, got it, and so they put it right on. It happened real fast, and so
So you did end up helping them.
yeah,
Good for you.
They were appreciative, and they just thought I was a little crazy. But we went on to set. These guys were not there at the time, though I'm thoroughly
No,
impressed.
hang on. I'd like to bring that up because I'm not going to play the whole clip again, but just for a second, I'm going to throw to
I
it.
like to see something like
Looking
that
up
work-
at that.
out.
That
Yeah, it was
is
sweet.
the microphone. and this
letter
has
number
not many
4,
people know
dear-
this since we started talking about it. That's the microphone that I had from my high school television show that your brother was a cameraman on.
Really?
That was my
That's the
microphone.
one?
I gave that microphone
Nice.
to Dave. That's the whole, and the story behind it is crazy pants of how the whole thing goes about it. But the what we're getting to is that there were 2 microphones, and
So you were there that day too.
not that day. What's
I'm
that?
saying-
Oh yeah, in a way, sure,
Yeah.
A bit of me because it was all stuff that I had handmade and done to be like his.
Yeah, because when we shot
Because I
it-
couldn't have made a
yeah.
replica this good at that age.
Because when we shot it, no one was in the studio. Like the camera crew, they had us do our routine, and we had a whole routine that you guys did not see. We had a whole routine that we did, and we did it. What they said was just like camera rehearsal. They're like, we're just getting the shots. We're going to try and do this. We
Wow.
did camera rehearsal for four different camera shots.
Whoa.
And we're like, okay, so do you want us to do it for real? And they're like, no, we got it. You're done. It's like,
No, we'll shoot the rehearsal.
what?
Hilarious.
And it's like they shot the rehearsal and they got everything they needed. And
Yeah, they were rolling
thought-
the whole time, I
yeah.
bet.
Because they thought that we wouldn't give them what they needed because they didn't give us any direction as to what the routine should do.
It's also how those shows are done. What you think you need to do and what they actually need are 2 completely
I know.
different things. You know what I mean? There was tiny little clips. They just needed you guys looking like you knew what you were doing. In fact, the better you were, the less of that they would use.
Right.
You know what I mean? It had to be kind of jokey and
It was jokey and silly and all that.
yeah. And it was exactly that. But what an experience!
Right,
Good
but
for you.
The only thing that I would change about that clip was what's called a throw out. Like you saw me throw
The Marty
Paolo,
guy.
the Martin throw out. We had an air step. That's what those are called. Like we had one that we had planned up until that day. We had been nailing it every time in rehearsal, and then just that day, all of a sudden, we were flopping. Like we couldn't get it. It was
Toe pick.
It was definitely a toe pick moment. Right. Throwing out a cutting
need to
edge
see that
reference.
movie
Right.
again.
Okay.
Love that.
We
It just sounds like the boom chick boom or whatever the heck it was called. You know, we're taking it out. We're putting it in. We're taking it out. We're putting it in.
Exactly. We had that moment, and we just couldn't keep it. So the throw out was the easy replacement of that. I was going
And
to
obviously
throw him
we have
around
no
like
idea,
that.
but the dancers who are from your community probably would. This
Yes,
is an explanation for them, I'm
absolutely
guessing.
do. But we had.
Have you been hanging on to this for 20 years? Of like, I am waiting to tell my side of this story.
Here's the rest of it. Here's what you didn't see.
Someday,
Manic to tell you. I need to get this out.
someday there will be some Merv Griffin guy with a set in his house, and we're going to tell the whole story.
Yes, sir.
All right, so you were dancing. Now we're blah, 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 blah. We're dancing. You're international. At some point, you meet this young lady who's sitting across from us here.
We met at a dance in New York. She's a dancer as well.
Oh,
So
pardon me. I had no idea.
Yeah. We met at a dance in New York, and that was 10 years ago. I'm not allowed to, I won't tell the story of our courtship because it's a little torrid and a little weird, and I don't tell the story well. And I'm not going to tell it on record.
That's okay. She happens to be here. Let's bring her in. And
Almost turned
Her heart
into like
actually stopped for a
Geraldo,
second.
like an episode of Geraldo. It's like, here's the son you never thought you had. It's like, wait, your wife didn't know?
She had no idea.
This is your life, right? You remember that?
A little bit.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So what were you doing? You met this one. Dancer
Yes.
also.
dancer also. At the time, I was not in a good place. I was
Beaten to death by Brill.
no, I wasn't beaten to death by Brill. I was not feeling good.
Not him. The business. The
yeah,
business.
the business.
You-
Like,
you
not
came
to-
out here. This is what I recall of this story. You came out here wanting to do this stuff, and then when you kind of got a taste for it at the level that you were aspiring to, it was kind of like, this isn't really what I had thought it was going to be, or what I thought I wanted, or maybe it's exactly what I thought it was going to be, but I don't want it.
Right.
Whatever. So you had kind of realized, holy shit, I moved across country for this, and I'm quitting a job. I mean, like all of the things didn't make sense.
Right.
So that's where you were, and
Well, okay, so that day when I quit,
boom.
right? I remember that day very clearly. I was having lots of health problems. Because I wanted to do my best job and I wasn't doing it. I remember calling you.
Yeah.
And you
asked me if you could quit.
I did.
I thought it was very respectful, although at the
Yeah.
same time I was like, either suck it up or quit. But I don't, you know what I mean? Like,
See,
it's-
that's the Jay response. That's the
Sorry.
Jay, he's like, come on, I know you. You're better than this. And he's the guy who brings out the best in you. Like you can do anything. Come on, don't look at me like that.
No,
You know that you did that for me any number of times.
okay. I appreciate it.
I would come to you sitting at that desk in the middle of the Everybody Hates
Oh.
Chris, and I would be like, "Oh, say this happened," and you're like, "Don't worry about it, man. I know you got this. You got this." Like, and he never described me as a chucklehead, which I was very happy about. Right, the chucklehead. If Jay decided to call you a chucklehead in the office, we all knew what that meant. I don't know if you knew that everybody knew what that meant.
I don't even know if I remember at this
But
point.
chucklehead was your code word for asshole.
Oh, so and so is a chucklehead. Oh,
Yeah.
I like that. The board goes back. We're looking for asshole.
Right. So it was like he was trying to be nice, but it's like, I know what you mean. And he never described me that way, and I was very happy about it. So I was like,
That's a win.
thumbs up. That's a win. Right. I win. But that day I quit. I was like all up. I was quitting the job that I wanted, that I'd wanted.
You were
since I
quitting
was-
your life because
Right.
you'd been working towards this life for a while, and you actually finally started to like dig your heels in and start to make some progress,
Right.
and actually had some momentum going. And it's kind of like, well, it's easy to throw nothing away.
Right.
How do you walk away from something that you told yourself that you wanted?
Yeah.
It's tough.
It was the toughest thing. It was the toughest decision. And the one thing, and the only thing that I've regretted since then. Now, it wasn't Brill. Brill and I, we separated. We went our separate ways. He
I've
went
seen
on
him
to do-
since. Yeah, there was no problems. Yeah.
Right. So he's doing his thing. Right. And everybody from that set, like, they've all gone on and done some really incredible things. My one regret, and it's very personal, you and me.
Oh.
I never got to say I'm sorry. Never.
Oh my God, that's
Never got to say I'm sorry.
That's very nice and not necessary. And I see the emotion on you.
understand that,
And
man. But like you changed my life, and I never got to say I'm sorry. I couldn't hack it. I couldn't do it.
that's crazy that that's the perspective you've been hanging on to so long.
Of course I've been hanging
It's
on to
not
it.
what you wanted. It's not what you thought it was going to be. Whose fault is that? That's nobody's fault.
I understand that, but like you stuck your neck out on a lot of different occasions, and you were the guy who you brought me to Harvell's every Sunday just so I could vent to you. I remember doing that over and over and over again. You got to the point where you're like, "Are you sick of this yet?" It's okay.
You were going through a hard time.
Yes, it wasn't easy,
but
it was necessary.
Throughout my life, it has been brought up. I don't know that I ever realized this, but this whole process is kind of a life review in a weird way. And it's been brought to my attention lately that I have popped up in people's lives a couple times here and there where they needed it and I didn't even know it, or, you know what I mean? It's just, I guess what I'm trying to say here is choose the greater path always. Like, if there's a choice between, I can help this guy and not, well, why wouldn't you just help this guy? You know what I mean? Like, doesn't that help you? It helps me.
Right.
I'm convinced that I would have. I got some good karma out of that or whatever.
You got great karma out of that, but no one.
Well, that's a mistake. I think people are making a mistake by not thinking that way.
Right. However, people would, of course, benefit by helping other people up. Because then, like, especially in this business, in this business, and I mean the one that is surrounding us and infusing and in all of these lights, this business.
In the studio.
Right, in the studio. Yeah, right. So the people who help you get to where you are, you want to help back. And right now, if I was in any position to help you guys, I would throw whatever I needed aside and just to help you guys.
Oh, thanks, man.
Of course. Granted, I'm in no position to be like, well,
that's
I know
not
this
true.
guy.
You're doing okay. You're in LA for a job interview, for goodness sake.
Yes.
You were here for
I
vacation,
was
but
here for
coincidentally, someone found out and you got offered an interview as well, which you took, and you might be coming back here.
I hope so. It's a really, really great school.
That's
Is
exciting.
that something that would appeal to you?
Yeah.
Two thumbs up.
Two thumbs up. So it's.
Do you know what? That's funny. Dave's answer, the question was always, why are there two chairs? And Dave's answer was always, without fail, Siskel and Ebert. Two thumbs up. Connection made.
It all comes around.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I thought maybe we'd both be out.
No, we do two thumbs up all the time. It's just like, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, we got it. So.
You're incredible. You're fantastic. Don't worry about anything.
Oh.
Seriously, don't worry about anything. The truth is, I felt like your mom helped me out so much through school. We never really talk about this since like the very beginning of the podcast. Yeah. Your mom was a teacher at this Wilton High School, a teacher of mine, of yours, of your brother's, of Alex Bloom's. I mean, throughout the whole, I kind of always felt like anytime I ever hung out with you or your brother after out here in Los Angeles where there was a social or work connotation involved, I always thought that it was sort of like, that was me paying her back. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's a cyclical process.
She hears you.
I hope so.
I guarantee
that woman's very special.
She's also
your dad too.
She's also the person that turned us on to this podcast.
What?
Because you mentioned Wilton in like one of your first podcasts, and she's like, "David, we got mentioned on TV." And so she emails me, and I was like, "Okay, I'll check it out." And it's like, "Oh, it's Jay, it's Nicole. Hey, we'll watch." And you mentioned,
that was early on too.
Right.
That was really early.
And so we started watching. We're fans of the podcast, so we keep watching. Like a little, like to the point where it's a little ridiculous. But
what's it like actually being here? It's tiny, right? Little itty bitty room.
Actually, it's familiar.
Cool.
Because you watch it so many, you're like, I know this place.
Well, and some of the stuff is already established too. Right. So like, you know this, you know what it looks like.
I know that poster, the Woody Allen poster.
Do you know why?
I don't know.
You're the reason I have it. This is crazy, and it didn't occur to me till you just pointed it out. This is blowing my mind. It's blowing my mind. I'll let you ruminate and see if we can get it.
Okay.
This is crazy. And the moment I say it, you're going to know, and then you're going to go, holy crap.
No, I don't get it.
But it's familiar.
Yeah, of course it is. I know that.
Okay, well, when you were out here working on the drill bit tailor or one of the Steve Brill jobs, and hanging out with me and my old friend Lori, drinking wine, etc., getting to know Los Angeles and California wines, you were very excited about a pilot that had come out, and I was completely unenthused with the same pilot because there was another show at the same time on the same network that I was excited about. and they were both with very similar storylines. I was excited about 30 Rock.
Oh, that's
and
right.
you were excited about a show called Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip. Now, that's where our history gets wiped.
Yeah.
I became I can't stand the show 30 Rock, even though I understand why it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Studio 60 is one of my all-time favorite dramas ever to grace television.
No kidding.
And
One of the
that
best
is
shows
from
ever.
Matthew Perry's office as the writer on
Freaking
Matthew Albee in Studio 60. And the Pirates of Penzance posters in the other room.
I'm fanboying so hard right
So this was, remember when he was in the, and
Right,
the big clock,
yes,
the big
yes.
clock was next to it, the countdown clock.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Studio 60.
So you brought the pilot, you had it on VHS. I think you got it from Brill, as a matter of fact, or from The Office, and you
yeah.
brought it over, and we watched the pilot of Studio 60, and I was like, holy shit, this is good. It was really
I will
good.
thank you
One of
right
the
now
best
then for
pilots
bringing
ever.
it into my life. I didn't watch it when it was on, so he turned me onto it, and apparently it came from
no.
you. So
Okay,
good
so-
job.
All right.
It's a fantastic show.
It is a fantastic show. It's I've been a fan of Aaron Sorkin since The West Wing. Like
Yeah.
you watched, like during the Bush years, you kind of switched over to The West Wing so you could get some politics that you actually agreed with, and you're like, okay, good, smart people in the White House, great, awesome. So you do that, and his next show was Studio 60, and you watch it, and you're not watching for the comedy. There's comedy in there, but you're watching because it's really just like poignant, especially at that time in my life, because I was in the production process.
Okay.
And so you have
We
those
should
moments.
revisit it now that we're redoing it.
Please.
too.
And so you have that moment where you're like, okay, I understand that like really, really well. I understand that.
I feel that was the reason the show failed. It was way too real, way too good, way too accurate, way too. People thought it was bullshit. They're like, there's not this much drama behind all of this crap. And it's kind of like, this is so watered down. You have no idea.
Right.
Like, add 16 hours a day and stress and fatigue and everything to what you're seeing.
Right. Like, okay, so on the set of The Weekend, and this is the only crossover I remember, but on the set of The Weekend, they actually would do, like, because you're standing around, like, drinking just water bottles, they would do spit takes. Because
To
it's
kill the
funny.
time.
To kill the time, because it's
And it
funny.
was a comedy
You're
show.
outside, because you're filming on location, so you're outside, so you're not, like, spitting anywhere, so you're spitting on a lawn.
Well, it keeps the energy up too.
Right.
Like,
And you're entertaining, like, so
Yeah.
you've got Chris O'Dowd, you've got Oliver,
funny people.
right? Funny people doing spit takes. So of course
It's a good
fun.
day.
And you're entertaining the entire crew. So when you're like in between shots, you're setting stuff up. You have funny people entertaining you. That's what happens, and a lot.
Do you remember how much funnier Chris O'Dowd was during those moments than he was in the show? Because Chris O'Dowd, this guy from Bridesmaids who you're talking about,
Yeah.
notorious for his accent.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's what he's like. He's so funny because it's so thick. Oh, this is 40 he's in as well as go get Graham Parker, and
Oh right, I always forget that. So funny.
they had him be
American for some reason.
So they brought in a dialect coach and the whole bit. Or I think we went through a couple dialect coaches,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact.
He had to do
Looping too,
do
and everything
looping, and-
in his ear live.
yeah.
To
that's
so
a
he would
bummer.
mimic it. So he was not allowed to do his work.
Yeah,
and that
it's
I
not
felt
as funny.
was yeah. And then we had to not use as much of him because of it, which was a problem.
Yeah, there was a couple things that the studio insisted on that maybe weren't agreeable to
Life.
the performer, like Chris O'Dowd.
It was a crazy time.
Yeah.
It was a crazy time. That was during the CBS Paramount split.
Really,
When Mr. Les Moonves in the news lately,
Right.
Les and Brad Gray, yeah, they split Paramount.
Yep.
It used to be Paramount was all Viacom and all. Oh, that's what it is. They split up Viacom. They made it Paramount and CBS Television. During all that was all at the same time, and it was like, man, there was a lot of
Hectic.
projects. Yeah, that
Right.
there was nothing stuff on the shelf that got moved straight to production,
Yeah, I
and
remember
vice
that
versa.
time.
Stuff that should have gone just got like, nope, I don't like it.
A lot got just turned upside down
Yeah.
in the business.
All right, we're like almost out of time, but I want to get back to this lady here, and then I want to talk about. Can we say where you? We probably can't say what your interview was,
Not
what you're
yet.
here for. Any of that's too early.
I don't have any jobs
When
yet.
you
Yeah.
come back, we will talk all about it.
Yeah, that's good.
That was the nice little, like, when you come back, you're definitely coming back. You're definitely going to be. Of course you're going to be.
How about this?
Of course, you're going to be.
What?
Yes, sir.
since we've been here before. What is it that you want? I'm assuming that you're going to be back. You're going to get this job and whatever. What is it that you want once you're here? How can we help? And this goes for both of you, but you're the one on camera at the moment.
Man, I can't ask anything of you.
You can ask something of me.
I might not be able to provide it. Who knows?
I want to just hang with you.
Cool.
Right? And like, I get to hang with your wife because I know you. I love hanging with you. But I get to hang with your wife because I literally met her today.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
But we kind of, like, when you watch the podcast, you kind of get the connection. It's like, I know you. I know. You have no idea who I am, but I know you.
But she's got your DNA too from your brother.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, she knows him.
Okay.
I didn't mean you have his DNA.
Right,
I just meant like she's
yeah.
you're a familiar you're a familiar entity as well.
Yes. Okay.
And say hi to your mom for me because that was such a neat.
Hey, butthead.
Yeah, when we come back, when we go back to the East Coast, I will make sure that they watch this podcast, and she's definitely going to watch this because her son is on.
Oh yeah,
and she has been mentioned in it, so therefore it's the most important thing of the week.
I've been trying to get your brother in here forever, and he just won't leave the house. He's doing so many. He is an actor, but I guess he did a little bit of voice work like a while ago once, and it has been nonstop since. He's recording doing books on tape.
Yeah.
So he just cranks those out, huh?
Yeah, he built his own studio in his basement.
Oh, what a loser.
I have no idea what that's like, but I love audiobooks. Hang on,
How about he has a basement in Los Angeles? That's what I was drawn to.
Right.
Yeah, FYI.
No, he's doing well for himself. He's doing a good job.
Great. Good man.
Like, he has really made like a niche for himself. He's still working through what we're all working through in this town, but he's doing well. Like, when he appeared on Big Little Lies, I was in England, and literally everyone in town, right? Everyone in town was just like that we knew was like, wait, your brother's going to be on Big Little Lies, because they had met him because he had come over. And Stratford,
cool.
Stratford, we were in Stratford-on-Avon, Shakespeare's birthplace, all that stuff, and that's where we lived for 4 years. But small town. It's despite how many people go there to visit and tourist and all that, but like the people who are local are small town. And so everybody knows everybody. So when my brother comes to town, like, all the people get to meet him. And he's a very handsome man.
He's very pretty, and his role on that show was like pivotal.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Of course, like Saxon Baker, he's the guy. But they met him, and of course, so he's a very handsome man. So what do all the British women who are single and available, what do? They just like, ooh, Steve.
Is your brother single?
I don't know. I don't think so at the moment.
I'm getting a head shake over there.
But yes, honestly, we're seeing you on this trip before we have seen Steve.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Right? We're seeing you guys before any of that happens. We
Hi,
value
Steve.
you more.
That's a win for me.
Well, you know, I can't stand social, but we have to do it, and it's one of the things.
Yeah.
And he just popped up the other day for the first time in ages saying, like, hey, haven't posted anything in a while. This is what I look like. And that was it. Just like him looking at his, like a close up, He's still the same guy.
Yeah. He's
same guy.
Still the same guy. And you get him talking, he'll knock your socks off with his stories.
You're the same way. You guys are the same way. You both have led colorful lives. You've lived your lives.
Colorful is a good word.
You've lived your lives, and I think that is the only way to do it.
Agreed.
Amen. I'm looking forward to what we have next. Like, because if I do end up out here, Lord knows something's going to happen with y'all, and I'm going to get to watch. I'm going to bring the popcorn.
Awesome. I can't wait. Very nice to meet your wife today.
Yes.
Fantastic to see you
Good
again
to see
today. What did we figure out? Was it like 10 years? It's probably been 10 years.
Close to that, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Alex Bloom's 25 years, 23 years or something like that. Whatever it was. 1995 or 96. Can you believe that?
No.
It's crazy.
We're not that old.
Oh, no, of course not.
No.
I am. I'm that old.
No.
We got this desk, and then like my hair started thinning in the whole bit. I'm getting Letterman's hairline, and my neck hurts. I'm getting his crunk neck and the whole bit.
Wow.
Sort of like you inherit the whole kingdom by accident, sort of thing.
Apparently.
I'm just kidding. Love you. Great to see you. Love you. Great to meet you. Mrs. Ryan, I love you, period. That's it, right?
Yeah, I think
Do we have anything else? What do we have tomorrow?
There's so much going on this month, but
Yeah.
busy week.
Oh, tomorrow, Steve Vartanian from Singer Vehicle Designs
Oh,
will be here.
right.
Next
Can't
week,
wait.
we've got Jonathan Hirsch, Ryan Casal, Alfred Hopton, and Paul Kramer from Auto Kennel. So that'll be good, too. Awesome. This is the longest goodbye ever. Love everybody. Love everybody. See you tomorrow.